What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
Well, hello, curling fans from across Canada, the U.S., and around the world, and especially in Japan. Welcome to Draw 7 of the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major. Welcome to Curling Stadium, and our featured match tonight between Daniel Casper of Chaska, Minnesota, against Yusuke Morozumi, of Japan. This is Draw 7, also known as the B Final. So here we are, Draw 7 of the B Final from Beaumont Curling Club in Beaumont, Alberta. First thing is that the Alberta Curling Series Major could definitely use a name. But here we go. We got ourselves a curling game tonight. Post, if you're watching on YouTube or even on Facebook, just tell us in comments where you're watching it from. My name is Matt Hames, and I'm watching it from Hamilton, New York, in the United States. I think we're going to have a good game here. Watching some of the practice, and the ice looks like it's nice and quick, curls a lot, so we're definitely going to have an interesting game. Morozumi won the draw to the button contest. He put it on the pin if anybody was watching, because the coverage started right just as he was making the draw. So they have hammer. Nice aggressive end. Center line, come right in. Trying to come in again here. It's always interesting to think about what you want to do in the first end, if you want to play it easy. But this is 7 p.m. for them on Saturday. They've been playing on this ice a bunch of different times. They got some practice ice, so nobody's really guessing the ice or guessing how it's going to run. So, it's not a bad idea to just go for it, put it right in there. That one they got caught a little bit on that one. It wasn't curling, so they were waiting as long as they possibly could, and they ended up putting it not in the best spot for them. You probably want that a good foot higher or a couple of feet deeper. Wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. It's not in the most ideal situation, in the most ideal placement for them right now, because it offers a chance for the Casper team to just sit right on top of it. It's going to be a tough yellow rock to move. As you can see, this Casper team is playing with 3. And so, in the times that we would play with 3, you'd have to just remind yourself all the time that just because you don't have 2 guys sweeping, it doesn't mean that one guy sweeping is not any good. There's a tendency early, as you kind of just get used to this, to overthink it a little bit and think, I got to make sure that this one is there. I don't want to leave this one light. I've only got 1 sweeper, so I better give her. This game is all in your head, honestly. It gets in your head. If you can sit in the hack and just throw the weight and hit the broom, it's an easy game. But when you start to think about things, it's when it starts to get a little tougher. We got some people in the comments. Good morning. Good morning from Japan. And I have a lot of fans from Japan watching with their morning coffee. They didn't want that to come up that light. It's an interesting point in the end right here, because if you're Casper and you come around this, you're pretty much committed. But if you run some guards, you might be able to get out of this end. So it's, this is one of those moments where you look at it and say, which way do we want this end to go? And they clearly don't want this end to get away from them. So they're looking at running these guards. You might just think, why not just play this come around? Again, if you miss this come around, you might not have another chance at clearing guards. Like, they come in and sit top 4, and all of a sudden you're kind of running for your life, and they're just in entire control of this. So it's a nice call. Get rid of the ones at the top. Open it up a little bit. Open yourself up for some doubles in the second half of the end. It's a good result. Guards are a little staggered, so come around here, top 8. You definitely want to make sure that this one is, even top 12 half buried would be perfect. Lots of rotation. Sweepers are on it. Looks like it has to go based on the reaction of the sweepers and the fact that it might not get over the hog line. Well, that's definitely not the kind of shot you want right here. And here I was in the beginning of this saying that everyone knew the ice and knew the weight. So good chance for the Casper team here to just, again, you don't have to be shot here. If you're top 4 foot buried, you just really choke off the 4 foot. It would be great to just get right down to it. It's got to do some bending. They did take about a half a foot more ice on this shot than Morozumi took on it. And ends up about half a foot too much, too little curl. If you take that and you just move it half buried, it's actually a decent shot. If they can make a hit and roll here, it's going to bring back the end for them. It's like they're playing it with a decent amount of weight. Might just roll a little bit too far, but that's not actually bad. Get it all the way over there. Yep, just get it all the way over. Still gonna play this double. This is another one of those shots in the end, right? Where you just, if you hit and roll on top, it's also a really good shot. What you want to make sure you try to do is make sure you hit the inside of this rock. Taking a lot of ice here, which leads me to believe that they're throwing this control weight not very hard. Comes with risk, comes with a lot of reward when you don't throw it hard. You can wait for it a little bit, but if it starts to curl, looks like they got a whoa. result. I think you'll see them play the hit and roll. I was going to say ignore it and just play the draw, but I guess he's haven't exactly excelled at the draws, so why not? You can see they're taking a lot less ice, so they're probably throwing this a lot harder. Nose hit is good. And a little hit and roll out. So we're back to the same exact spot. Play this freeze. Take less ice. Don't go outside edge of the 12 foot or outside edge of the 8, I mean. Just go inside the edge of the 8 and put it right. There you go. There's the ice. Back to that same situation. Just trying to, you don't necessarily have to sit shot. It'd be awesome to sit shot here and just nudge right up to it. Tap it just a couple of inches. But even if you don't, you're generating a pretty solid force. First skips rocks. Solid rotation. You know, I'll tell you the one thing that mixed doubles has brought is that it's made it a lot easier for us to just jump up and sweep our own rocks. Just was not a thing that you saw until mixed doubles. And now everyone's like, yeah, I can jump up and sweep my own rock. Do it all the time in mixed doubles, so why not in 4-person curling, or in this case, 3-person curling? That's a great shot. So as you can see, like, there's just no way to remove that rock. And the problem too is that you kind of have to deal with it. He thinks he might be able to get inside here. He thinks that I gotta tell you that the laws of physics suggest that he cannot get inside here. You just cannot, like, it's gotta get past the action. It's gotta get by the guard and get inside with tap back weight. Like, I know he thinks he can get inside there, but I think the laws of physics are going to have an opinion on this one. The worst thing you want to do here, or the thing that you really don't want to do here, is make the shot for him. I just don't see the possibility of this shot. It doesn't finish. I haven't seen any evidence that it finishes this hard, and to throw the weight that he needs to tap it back, he needs to be throwing this back ring on its own, maybe back 12 foot on its own, and then pound it and just skinny the guard, and I still think it jams. But in his defense, maybe it jams and bounces a bit and gives him a shot for 3 on his last. Genuinely don't see it, but not on the ice. Decent release. Definitely going to be tight to the guard. 2 sweepers sweeping here. You don't see that very often either. I guess we'll never know whether the laws of physics applied here because he cracks the guard. But just hangs on for a nibbler. That's gonna cause a little bit of discomfort. You could just play this. You play it with a kind of a normal weight and just force a deuce and make sure you roll over there. So you play it like you're playing the double off the yellow to the red way over there. You could also play it on the nose, and the yellow goes over to the red over there. What you don't want to do, is you want to pick one of those two things, because if you hit this just a little high side, they're both going to roll over and you're going to leave a double for 2. So you want to hit half a rock or nose hit. And those are 2 different shots. Like that's not an either or. Like half a rock or a nose hit. That's a significantly different shot. So it'd be interesting which one they're going with, because they indicated both. Last skips rocks for Daniel Casper. A little quiet. It's like they're going for the nose hit. Maybe no. They're going to just hit a little high side and leave the double. That's what you did not want to do. I might have seriously contemplated a little bit more weight there to make sure you got that separation. Just a little firm, but that tick in the guard and rolling over there just created that situation where they were sort of in between the shots that they wanted to play. Like if that yellow guard or that red rock isn't there, they just come down with way less pressure and maybe even try to hit and roll inside a bit and not group them. As it stands, they tried to be a little bit too cute with it. It didn't go anywhere, and they leave this double. Just a high side double. You'd probably see normal weight here. Still, it's not moving like crazy, but just nice control weight. Needs to curl, definitely. It's looking like a steal of one. Well, we got to say, that wasn't a great end, but let's see what happens in end number 2. This is Curling Stadium from Beaumont, Alberta, Canada. We'll be right back.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
And welcome back. This is Curling Stadium's presentation of the Alberta Curling Season Series Major, featuring Daniel Casper of Chaska, Minnesota, playing Yusuke Morozumi of Japan in Draw 7, also known as the B Final. Not the most well-played end in the first end there, but, some nerves, a little bit of nerves, a little bit of just understanding the ice, a couple of just not really necessarily throwing the correct weights. Sometimes that's just a communication thing, and they'll get there. Here's hoping for a really good second end. These two teams are good teams. They can play. There's a lot of shot making to be had in this game, so let's see what happens. Morozumi's going to just ignore this centerline situation which isn't really hurting him in any way right now. Like it being not buried there and just fighting the top 8, it's not really going to hurt him. So they don't need to be shot here. Just come around this corner, get it T-line, get it a little bit far from this tight corner if possible, and put some pressure. Just put some pressure on this end. Definitely looks like it has some pace. Get it all the way back there, boys. It's a good shot. About, you can see about half. It's still gonna cause. Looks like they're just playing a little hack waiter, a little hack of board weight, just enough to get it out of the rings. But forcing the play over to the wings here. Again, this is shaping up to be an okay situation for Morozumi. Not exactly what they were hoping for there. Oh, there's a good. Just taking it. Maybe just a little bit more weight than they thought on that last one. So what we're seeing a little bit here is just some weight adjustments. Just not quite getting the weights right. This is a nice little control weight hit here. Just a little down. And they're just losing it. They might actually get a little break here with it rolling over and guarding their rock. Ends up being a pretty good result. Probably here, if you're Casper, you're taking a deep sigh and you're thinking, do we run this or do we come around? I don't really see the upside of coming around here, because if you go top 8, you might actually set up a yellow double off the one that's just off the line. So I think this is the right call here. Just try to smash this back, and if you can roll for a centerline guard, you'll definitely get the back one. This Casper team definitely doesn't throw it hard. Nice little control weight. That's a good looking shot right there. Just nice. Just a nice normal weight. It's interesting because this exact situation 4 rocks ago, he came around the corner, and now he's electing to hit this top one. I'm not saying this is a wrong call. With 6 rocks to play, he'd like to come around the corner. With 4 rocks to play, he doesn't like this situation as much anymore. Just hit it and roll over. It's a decent enough shot. I think just again, hit and roll. Nice, again, taken lots of ice, so it's not going to be moving very hard. Gotta tell you, with one sweeper, it's a lot to put in. A little tighter ice, a little bit less, but this is a good looking shot. Look, who am I to say what weight they should throw, ladies and gentlemen? That was a great curling shot right there. I gotta tell you, I've never seen this Daniel Casper team throw. I'm really impressed with the weight. I am impressed with just their weight control right now. They're not overthrowing anything. They're not just just heaving it down and trying to blast. They're trying to be in much more control over these little runbacks and hit and rolls. It's impressive. Ooh, a little dead jam there. Now where do you go? Yeah, the issue here is if you go top button or top forefoot, just bite the top forefoot, 3/4 buried. They hit and roll behind 2 guards now, and they've still got to draw to the forefoot with both turns for their deuce. So you want to make sure that this rock is probably more than just biting the top forefoot, but it looks like it's got a curl a time. Maybe just a little bit heavy. You're going to see a little hit and roll. They still have the hit and roll behind the corner if they want to. Just a shot. Indicating board. Nice little board weight hit here. Oh, he tapped the board anyway, so you gotta believe he's playing board weight, right? Tapping the board means something else, though. Let's see what the weight is. Definitely got a lot going on in that release. I play with a guy who threw it like that once, and it's really hard to read as a sweeper. It's all over the guard. Maybe split it on. Well, it's over there. There is still maybe a double for 2. It would be hard to hold it, but there's a possibility of a double for 2. So I think they have to deal with that shot. And really, throwing a guard is not really anything you want on a rock that probably isn't going to steal you an end. If it was on the center line, maybe I'd think about throwing the guard, but because it's off the center line, you throw a guard on it. You're saying, I don't think you can draw full forefoot. He can draw full forefoot. So, you just hit this. Morozumi team is definitely struggling, so giving them some, having lots of rocks in the rings right now and them throwing is not the worst thing in the world. Okay, nice control weight. Sweeper thinks it's a little down. Just coming up nice. Just roll it over to the 8-foot. It's a good looking curling shot right there. Some of you might be wondering, they wanted to roll it just a little bit farther inside so that if Morozumi makes this hit and roll, he wouldn't be shot. But it doesn't really matter. You got to make this hit and roll. Oof, that is a lot. That is plenty of ice right there. That is what you refer to in the business as aggressive ice. So they are going for this hit and roll. When you're sitting in the hack and you see that much ice too, and he's only playing he's playing a pretty downweight hit, but when you see that much ice and you see that you're actually on the guards, and you let it go, you're on the guards, the tendency is to try to just steer it a little bit inside. Let's see if this rock curls. It seems like he threw it pretty good. Still on the guards. Oh, here it comes. Here Here comes, gotta go. It's looking, oh, it's right on the nose. Tough shot. Tough shot with that turn. Hard to take enough ice to throw it. Maybe the solution is throw it a bit harder, but these guys have decided that it's normal or nothing. So now what you're trying to think about is, how do we get in a spot where if he knows that he's not shot? So I think if they just hit and rolled just a couple of millimeters to the right, a couple of inches to the right, which I know is way more than millimeters. I got you. But just a little bit to the right, just half tucked behind that guard. I don't think that's what they're playing. I think they're just trying to make sure they get rid of it, and they don't really care, so they're trying to roll the other way. This one's moving a little bit more than normal for these guys. Sweeping it to make it curl a bit. I'm not gonna. They were just gonna try to do that, just like hit it, and as long as they just hit it and roll away, don't try to get cute and roll behind the guard and end up jamming it. Just get rid of the rock, force a one, be tied up with after two, go to the next end. I personally like putting a little bit of pressure on them. It's all good. So this is last rock. Got a little bit of backing. Don't really want to play to the backing though. You want to just ice to the backing. You want to throw this rock right to the tee line. Just put it right on the button. It's got about button ice. So just stick it right on the button. Here we go, last rock of the second end of the Alberta Curling Series Major from Beaumont, Alberta. Sweepers are on and off it. Mine looks like it's approaching the back one. It is all good in the hood. That is 1 point. All right, well, that is the second end. Thanks for joining us, and we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
And welcome back to the Alberta Curling Series Major. And man, that name does not get better the more you say it. If anybody out there wants to sponsor a curling bonspiel, there's definitely one who's looking for someone to put their name on it. That Alberta Curling Series Major does not just roll off the tongue. Anyway, we're in the third end here. Daniel Casper of Chaska, Minnesota is playing Yusuke Morozumi of Japan, N3. Casper with last rock, playing with 3. My name is Matt Hames, and I will be your commentator for this evening. My co-commentator, Mark, is having some technical issues. He might join us. He might not. The internet is fun like that. Sometimes it works, and sometimes you just have a drink. So here we are in the third end. I think you're going to see this. I think you're going to see this Morozumi team go a little bit harder this end. Things are just not going well. They need to just change the momentum and start making some shots. And I think you'll see this. I think you'll see them be aggressive, and you might see this young Daniel Casper team of Minnesota play a little bit more defensive. They got hammer. They sort of got some control in this game. What's interesting to me is they don't look like a team who necessarily fires it. Doesn't mean they can't. They just don't. They look like they like to play some touch shots. Trying to make this curl. Well, this is definitely going to be enticing to try to hit this. You're going to want to hit this a hair on the inside and lose both yellows. It's enticing, but you might also just think about coming down and knocking another one there and waiting. It's really early in the end, and they want to switch some momentum here. Instead, what they're gonna try to do is they're gonna throw this decently hard, try to just cross the nose a tiny bit, and roll underneath, and you're gonna see some fly. Even a nose hit here, and all the yellow rocks are gone. Maybe they're having a conversation. Nope. They are not. I do think if it was me, I might wait just a little bit. The shot isn't going anywhere. You come down and freeze on top of that yellow one, and it puts an awful lot of pressure on Casper. And if you hit this a little high side and roll out, it just takes away the end. So you got to make sure that you're on the inside here. They're sweeping it to get it to curl. Nose hit. Doesn't get rid of the back yet, or the top yellow. Yeah, I think you can't play the double because it might jam, so you just want to play a little hit and roll, even a little bit further if you can. We just take that back red one on the way by. But if you can just get a little bit inside and roll, even over-roll a bit, over-roll to half open would be outstanding. They definitely play control weight, so they should be able to make this. Let's see what happens here. That is control weight. They're switching to get across. It does not look like it's going to cross. Looks like they might just dead jam this and roll out. That's not what they wanted. That might have been the one time where they overthrew it a little bit. That one's the one where they definitely needed a little bit of control. When you've got this situation, so you've got a rock half buried around the center line and one open. The danger of this shot right here is, well, it's not a danger, but you're going to nose hit this, and then they're going to either hit and roll from the top one, or they're going to hit and roll under on the back one. There's no way to take that away necessarily, but you could. You could just throw another guard. You're trying to steal here. Get some momentum back. This is a tight little double here. This is an eighth of a rock double or a little hit and roll. So it looks like he's asking for just a little bit of a really, really casual weight. Kind of just like shook his hand near his belly, which to me says, don't throw this hard, buddy. Yeah, it's nice, quiet, control weight. It's probably going to curl on him, which is good because it needs to curl. Take it all back. Really needs to. It's close to just getting both of them moving, but not any of one out of the rings. I don't know, for any of my Ontario friends, that was almost a Eddie Wernick board weight double. Just needed a little bit more board. Most of Japan is like, what did he just say? Starting to get a little congested in there for Daniel Casper's team here. They do have hammer, so that's the good news. And they do have a guard, so that's also the good news. But they're looking at a pretty congested house. And, you start to get to a point where you ask yourself this question, and this is an interesting question to ask anybody in curling. Like, it is always easier to draw a rock to a spot than to hit and roll to a spot. So can you just make a draw? You can always make I'm not saying they can't make this hit and roll. They made a great hit and roll last end. So they can definitely make this hit and roll. But they can also easily nose it. And you just kind of missed an opportunity to get in there. Not a bad result. But now the issue is, now it's starting to you're starting to clog that forefoot even more. If Morozumi can make this nose hit, or even just a hair inside, if he can just roll a hair inside here, but nose hit is also great, but if he can roll a hair inside, that puts an awful lot of pressure on the next three rocks. Let's see what they can do. It's definitely quiet weight. Here it comes. Just get a little bit inside. Just a little inside. Oh, that's a beautiful curling shot right there. That is exactly what they were looking for. That puts an awful lot of pressure. Now you're playing a hit and roll under two guards. There might be a triple here. If you just hit a sliver of it, you might be able to make a slash triple. You just hit pretty thin. If you make that thin double, you might make the triple. Comes with a lot of risk. If you just get rid of the rock in the rings and nothing else, they're going to put it back better. It's not the worst idea right now to try to run that guard into the rock that's on that's over there on the one that they're kind of just poking off of. Try to get out of this end a little bit. It's probably the shot that they're going to have to try. Don't know if I would ever. I think what they're playing is to come across this. Yeah, it looks like they're playing the. It looks like they're playing. Yeah, they switched the turn. Originally, it looked like they were playing an in turn. Now they're playing an out turn with significant amount of weight. Try to hit it. Try to hit. Almost just off nose. Try to run that other one in and get your shooter out of the way. This one's moving. Oh, that's a great shot right there. Even though it doesn't get it out of the rings, it gets it out of a little bit more out of trouble. It gets it off the 4 foot, especially. Now you're guarding a rock that's full 8, right? No, it's not. I mean, you throw a guard here, you can come around it. You can come half around it. You come around right on the Boston Pizza logo, half open, and you might jam it on the back one if you try to get rid of it. They're starting to debate whether or not they should actually throw a guard on a rock top 8, but they're back to throwing a guard. Tight guard, top 12. I'd listen to a little tap here. I would also listen to an intern draw to the top button, make him try to nose hit this for the double, and then he nose hit back, and he's drawn to the back one with a wide out turn. Tight guard, top 12. Skips first. Looks like it's got the weight. It's definitely not curling, which is why you believe it's got the weight. Might end up just kind of like corner freezing on it. Just get her to the top 12. It's a good shot. You can freeze to this back one. You'll probably be shot. Let's go with you'll probably be shot if you're dead frozen. If you're a little bit on the outside, then you're starting to get a little precarious. If you're not shot here, and he's going way out, so he's got to go way out to make sure he's by. If you're not shot here, same shot, little tap. Get that rock in the top button. It's almost unmissable if you hit it on the left-hand side. If you hit it with tap weight a little bit on the left-hand side of nose, and just roll over a tiny bit. So this is a big shot right here. You want to definitely be shot. So you're playing just a T-line on its own. You're just trying to throw it to the T-line on its own. Let the sweeper get it back there. It's like they're going to make it curl. It's like it's there. Probably got a curl. Well, it's a good looking shot. Just kind of got even half around. That's a great curling shot right there. Just gonna pick it out. You could think about still making the tap, trying the tap. Comes with a lot of risk. Pick this out, force him to do it again. It's been a decently played end. You play a good defensive end where you're kind of like just putting pressure on, and it comes down to this. Like, you got to just make contact with this rock, make it go away, make him repeat the shot. Like I said, you could get aggressive and try. You could try a little tap, but this is just hit the brim, throw the weight, get a piece of it, make it go away, make him do it again. Last rock for Morozumi. It's a little wide on his release. It also isn't moving, so that's good. Oh, he's gonna just take the guard. Look at that. Amazing. They weren't even worried about it. I think it was just quieter than they thought it was. It looked to me like it looked on release, it looked like he said that a bit. But it's... watching the replay on YouTube. They didn't touch it until 3/4 of the way down, and there was no need to wait that long. You look fine. You could have just been on it. Get your brims down. Just get close. That goes down as a missed shot by the skipper, but that's just an unfortunate team shot right there too. They don't sweep it to the very end and it ticks, and you don't even need to. Like, the guard wasn't even in play. Daniel Casper with a deuce, and thanks for joining us so far from the Beaumont Curling Club. This is Curling Stadium. We'll be right back after these messages.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
And we're back at the Alberta Curling Series Major in Beaumont, Alberta. This is Matt Hames, and I'm finally joined by my co-host, Mark. Mark, thanks for joining us. You got those internet gremlins worked out, have you?
I mean, we're working on cellular data, but I mean, I guess that's like technology coming together where, I mean, you think about this day and age, right? Like, there's an event in Beaumont, which I don't even know where that is, to be honest with you. I'm in Oklahoma using cell data and broadcasting a curling match commentary on a curling match for free through the wonders of Curling Stadium. So
exactly, it's just that, I mean, like I said, we don't have flying cars yet, but we've got this. So God bless technology. I would sit and watch curling anytime, and Curling Stadium is awesome for bringing us this event from the Beaumont Curling Club. And I got to tell you, this event needs a name. I know it's not on the organizing committee because they work really, really hard, and so I'm not trying to like rub salt into the wound, but there's anybody out there that wants to sponsor a major curling event, this one, stick your name on this. That would be awesome. There's hundreds of people watching right now, and thousands of people are going to be watching this all weekend.
Yeah, no, this is like a major. It should. Yeah. I mean, like, why not? But I mean, I think things are changing with sponsors. You know, the news with the what's it called?
Montana's Bar and Grill. It's going to be the Montana's Briar.
So I'm not. So as an American, I'm not familiar with Montana's Bar and Grill. Is this a pretty big kind of?
Yeah, it's pretty
company?
big. You know, it's a fancier sit down restaurant. It's a chain restaurant, but it's a fancier sit down chain restaurant. It's really, really good. So it's good food. And, you know, for the Briar, it's interesting because the Briar's gone from smokes to beer, like cigarettes to beer to a mobile phone to coffee to smoked ribs. I mean, that's the evolution that you want, right? If you end anywhere with smoked ribs, you're in good shape. So
it's pretty good, yeah. Now, when I saw the little teaser that was posted, they said, well, the smoking new sponsor or anything like that. I thought it was going back to cigarettes, which I would have thought it would have been very, very interesting.
It definitely would not, because that's actually illegal in Canada. Cigarette companies can't sponsor anything in Canada or advertise in any way.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Anyway, we're jabbering on here. It's the fourth end, and Morozumi has hammer and has a decent end going right here, but they're just missing, like they're just ticking guards, Mark. Like like this one is not a tick guard. Like this was just a miss, but it ends up not bad for them because
it's not
horrible yet.
No, I
don't think Casper. I mean, he could start ripping this corner guard here, but like you're gonna try to double this back. It's still a good situation because no matter what, Morozumi's gonna have a corner.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think he's playing the double. Is he just playing hit and roll here?
Yeah, the double is if you play the hit and roll and
you might get lucky.
If you get lucky, you know, you're also watching it. Like the hit and roll is maybe the double too. So
yeah, I thought it was just slightly different.
As long as you don't dead jam it. Oh, just missing it. That's not a bad result though. That is that guards the rock that's in front of the tee line. That's the dangerous rock. The one that's in front of the tee line that they just rolled to dead guard. That's the one they have to worry about the most. The two that are behind the tee line aren't that big a concern yet.
Yeah.
So you have to go ahead.
Do you have to go ahead and rip the guard here? Is there no thought to like freeze on top of it or like tap it? I mean, there's not a ton of space.
What I really like here is if they could have done this, is they might have actually been able to just hit and roll on, like play the hit and roll off the guard behind the corner guard. And if you get the back one, great. If you don't get the back one, you're now two buried behind a corner guard, and they would be fourth and fifth shot. But you know, the good news is that that you probably you might not see him hitting. So I think their goal now is to replace that guard. Just go for this end. Like, I mean, I don't think you want to rip the corner guard. I think you just want to replace the guard.
If you don't rip the corner guard, what does Morozumi do? Does Morozumi just like sink one underneath the corner, or do they?
Yeah, so it depends on. They're gonna try to. Casper's gonna try to play this tight-ish, so right on, like just a little bit close to where all that writing is, just in front of the rings. You want it nice and tight, sort of draw the logo, if you will. And then I think you're gonna see Morozumi can't really afford to ignore it. Because in order for his rock that's behind the corner guard to count, he's got to get rid of all three of these rocks. And if there's a guard in front of one of them, you can't really just double them out. There you go. There's a chance now to to come in and double some of these out. You might even be able to play the double on the top 2 yellows.
Yeah, it looks like he's indicating he's just maybe going quiet weight, just like hit and flop to the inside.
Yep. Yeah, he's trying to get as close to the nose as possible.
Gotcha. Oh, and maybe just catch the back one. Yeah.
Maybe just catch the back one. That's what he first indicated. With that kind of weight, you could also hit 3/4 on the outside, jiggle jam it, but not get anything out of the rocks, out of the rings, but get him behind the rings, which would be a really good result. So a good result here is half of a rock to 3/4 of a rock. Obviously, the shot he called to nose hit would be great.
Yeah.
But what you really, really don't want to do here is crack the guard, because you've got some options on the high side.
Yeah. No, as long as, getting by the guard, keeping shooter around.
Yeah.
And you've
Well, he's definitely going to hopefully keep the shooter around, because he's going to throw pretty quiet weight. But they have been just taking every single guard.
Oh
so
my gosh.
this has been the story of this game. If there's a guard to tick, these guys have ticked it. And it's been on shots sometimes where ticking the guard wasn't even in play. Like again, on that shot, they could hit half a rock on the outside.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to get so aggressive on the rock.
To me, it looked like, it was, soft weight, but I didn't think it was that light. It just moved a ton.
Yeah.
Do you think that's just the playing tonight, or do you think maybe just a little bit of soft on the release?
It could be. They seem to be throwing like a good amount of handle, and they don't seem, because they're also not jumping them, right? You missed the last end. They ticked a guard last end that wasn't really in play. They didn't start sweeping it until almost at the far hog line. So it can't. I don't think it's a release thing. I think it's just like a not
just surprising them,
the curl. And eventually, when you just continue to not anticipate the curl, it starts to get a little concerning.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good result right there. I think they're going to have to run this guard in and just try everything. To put things up.
Yeah. Just
a little off nose on the outside. Roll a bit to the right hand side and see if you can get three of them moving anyway.
Looks to be a pretty clean release.
Yeah, they're throwing it. They're honestly throwing it pretty good. Might get a little break here. Oh yeah.
All right. Well,
that's not a bad break for the situation. It's a little unlucky that it took out their rock that's buried, but they left something back there to freeze on. The rock is only biting the top 4 now, so it's less of a threat. Casper's still going to just throw center guard on it. I would be awfully tempted if I was him to throw the out turn and just go past this to the tee line. Just
to wrap it behind it.
Yeah, just put a little bit more pressure on them. That would force him to think about trying to play this big hit and roll, and if he ever rolls out, then you could put a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
This guard is okay, but he could do that same shot that I just said. So he could try to just wrap it around, and then you pick it out, and then he just draws for one. It's a much less pressure end for him because he's got to hit 4 foot for his 1 ring.
It's looks like they took more ice, and
they took more ice. It should finish for them.
It should finish. You don't want really hard. Be careful for an overcurl, but that doesn't seem to be a problem with this one here. We'll see if it picks up any spin at the end there.
Yeah, it's nice. I think what they're going to do is they're going to throw the out turn to the back button, and then try to let Casper pick it out.
Yeah.
Which you need, like, this was when you threw the center guard. This was the shot that he was going to play when you played the center guard. Casper knows that, so he's just saying, okay, you know, if you get it in there, I think I can pick it out. There's no risk of jamming, because if you jam, you're still going to be shot. It's hard to get rid of that because the guard is tight enough that it's hard to get rid of that back one and stay. So I think that's the conversation that they're having right now.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that. They're not playing the draw. They're trying to throw hack weight, just move it out of the way. Yeah.
I mean, I always love these finesse shots here. Their stones are finishing it, but man.
I would just like to point out that I think that the third and the skip have ticked about 5 guards so far in this game. So that's got to be in your head right now as you sit in the hack. Like, you know, the last end I ticked a guard and they got a deuce. You know, my third just ticked a guard on his first one and got us into a lot of trouble. So it's definitely in his head as he's sitting in the hack. Like Ted Lasso says, you got to be a goldfish in curling.
First, skips rocks here for Morozumi.
Real quiet. Good release. Like, everything is good, right? They're not now.
Now they're starting to jump it.
They're starting to go. They're anticipating this one. Yeah, now they're sweeping it to curl. That's a good looking shot right there.
Yeah.
It's still, you know, like, it's still, if Casper noses this, even just knows it, it takes, like, you can't then hit it. He's got to come down. He's got to play a center line out. He's got to either play a draw, an intern draw to the forefoot against 3 if you nose hit this, or he's got to play a center line out, hack weight, nose hit on the back one. I gotta be honest with you, neither one of those shots are fun at this point in the game. Down 2, playing the intern that hasn't been played. We haven't really played that intern on this side of the sheet this end. So you, like, the last thing you want to do is throw the out turn, like the center line out turn hit, because you can easily lose that one too. If Casper can nose hit this, Morozumi can't nose hit it back for his one. So it's gonna force one of those 2 shots. And I gotta be honest with you, Mark, like, none of those are fun for them.
Final rock for Dana Casper.
Nose hit. Yeah, that's beautiful. Nose hit. So here are his options, which are not fun. Intern draw.
Intern draw.
Yeah. I mean, he's always going to play that, but it's not ideal. You're drawing away from backing. There's no backing, but when you sit in the hack, it looks like there's backing, but there's no backing. Like, you're drawing away from backing. The hole is like really massive, but you're also just drawing away from everything. So
yeah, there's definitely some pressure here.
The thing that he's got to fight here is throwing it light.
Yeah, you always want to leave it to your sweepers, but man, you never want to throw a 3 guard here.
Let's see. He's been throwing draws pretty good.
Final rock, Team Morozumi. Looking to get 4-foot. Sweeper's on it right away here. Oh, it's starting to move here, and
by the guard. The question is,
are they guard? Do they got legs here? Yeah, the sweeper's back off that, so they must feel great about it. Puts it on the lid.
Panic.
Yeah.
A little panic. Right, well, there we go. That's the fourth end of the Alberta Curling Series Major. And we'll be right back after these messages.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening? Or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
Welcome back,
right.
everybody. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I was gonna say.
So much. I've been practicing.
Nice. No, yeah, we're back here. 7th draw of the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major, brought to you by Curling Stadium here. This event is in Beaumont Curling Club in Beaumont, Alberta, Canada. My name is Marco, joined on commentary by Matt Hames, and I've got a good game here. A very interesting end.
You know what? If you're watching on YouTube right now, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Say hello. We're looking at the comments, so it should be. Yeah. I think this will be a fun end. I think again, what you're gonna see in this end is I think you're gonna see Morozumi get a little bit aggressive here because they really, really would like to steal in this end if possible, and I think you're gonna see Casper as much as possible try to get rid of things. Mark, you weren't here for the beginning of this game, and I don't know a lot about this team, but they're very touch, low weight, down weight, control weight, and so I haven't seen them yet blast, but I think we might see this end them start blasting some guards.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, if they kind of switch up and go after that. We've got a very interesting end here, right? We've got some guards in play, and the ticking of guards has been a big factor in just the little curling I've seen so far of this match.
Here's another shot, right? Like, you just can't roll outside here, like roll anywhere outside. It would be better to freeze this right on the nose and hit somewhere on the outside and roll out, because it just doesn't get you anything. Like,
Oh, he's got air.
yeah, like this is
Oh
this.
no.
I get what he was trying to play on this shot. Like the weight is fine. That's what the weight was called.
Yeah.
But you just like if you hit half a rocket roll out, like Daniel's skipping as he runs up to this guard to appeal it because that was a great outcome for him. But so would have been hitting half a rock with that weight.
Yeah.
He would have still skipped up and peeled this guard. You just really had to keep that rock in the. You had to keep that rock that was just thrown before this one, like that last red rock. You just had to keep it in the rings and on the center line if possible. So back to the same situation, and this little tap thing, I just don't know what the upside of this is. He's taken way less ice, which is I don't think he missed it because of the ice last time. I think it was just a little bit wide and a little bit overthrown. So I think this is going to scare the guard pretty hard.
Yeah, there looks to be a little hesitation maybe from the thrower. You know, I think the call's okay if it's a little bit later in the end when you've got to start, you know, thinking, hey, we've got to move 2 rocks here. But it's, I mean, we're still on seconds here, you know? I think
you're in the
time to
first half of you don't have to worry about who shot rock in the first half of the curling end. It's the second half of the curling end when you start to have to worry about it. So seconds rocks, it doesn't really matter. Like they're trying to steal. They need guards. Like he's trying to purposely hit and roll to the outside. Daniel's just you're gonna see Daniel Casper skip up to that guard and whack it. Especially if you roll a bit to the outside, they're gonna try to whack the guard onto your rock that rolls out to that outside.
This one seems to be a bit quieter.
Yeah, a little quieter, a little tighter. It has got. I did say that if you took that, if you tighten the ice up like that, you were going to scare the guard. They didn't just scare it; they whacked it. It just turns. It just makes this end a lot less stressful for Casper. Trying to play that with any kind of weight just makes it. That is just so precise. It just makes it a lot harder to hold your shooter in a spot that's really offensive.
Just checking in on the YouTube chat, I can see we've got a few people. We got someone watching from Kentucky and someone
Winnipeg.
from Winnipeg.
I see Winnipeg, Manitoba.
That's awesome.
Kentucky, that's awesome. Hello, Kentucky.
Is there a club in Kentucky? I can't think. I don't know if there is.
Just really big fans of one of these guys, maybe. Oh, we got somebody from Tokyo. Awesome. Yokohama. More Japan. Do we have anybody from Canada watching this? Oh, no, we got somebody from Winnipeg.
Oh, yeah, Winnipeg. Yeah.
So we're hitting again. We're hitting down one without. Try a little hit and roll behind this corner guard. Get some of these rocks moving. Yeah. Daniel wants to try to play this to keep that back rock in. I'm not sure if I'm him the upside of keeping rocks in the rings right now at this point in the end. You might be just thinking about like a nose hit right there and lose that back one is force them to come around you. Because that's what they would play. They would come around you. And it just puts an awful lot of pressure on them. It's gonna come up. That's some good sweeping right there. He's a little disappointed that rolled out, but honestly, you don't necessarily. It would have been great if it hung on for a little biter, but you don't really. What you want to do is get out of this end. Oh, we got somebody watching from Earth, which is awesome.
Very nice.
Phoenix, Arizona, Louisville, Kentucky.
I need to make my way out to club in Phoenix. Derby City Curling Club. I think that might be Arena Club.
So we're trying a little hit and roll here. Just a quiet weight, little hit and roll on top, or maybe a just on the other side of the inch. This Japan team, they're not missing by much. They're just missing enough.
No, I gotta say I like their weight. You know that they
their weight's been great.
You know, they're not having to whip stuff, but it's just they're just a little bit off on line. This is gonna make just a hair thin, or I'm sorry, hair thick.
Yeah, just a hair thick.
Yeah, they didn't seem to be too worried about it.
No,
you know.
So now we're just gonna come around. We're throwing this out turn, come around their tight guard. The key to this shot, Mark, honestly, is again to be high, like just be high in the rings. Like top 12 is fine. You don't have to be buried even. It doesn't look like it's going to be buried actually. It's just going to be. It's coming across now. It's moving sideways. Just get it to finish. There you go. Just half buried. A little deeper than they probably would have written it up, but a good shot. I mean, this Morozumi team is going to hit anything that goes in the rings, even though this is an opportunity to just freeze on top of that and really choke out the rings.
There's no need to play the double here.
I don't really see the upside at the hit and roll right now. You've thrown a guard on purpose to get some rocks. They're looking at the scoreboard, trying to do some math in their head and thinking, well, we're kind of in it here. We've got to freeze because math doesn't really work to try this hit and roll and just make it easy for them, or even worst case, an easy one, or worst case, like a dodgy two. Like if Casper gets 2 here, then it's probably ball game. So you gotta just put some pressure on here. That's why they didn't want this to come so deep.
Yeah.
But Morozumi's got to make it. So put it on. They're gonna try to freeze it.
Is that enough ice for a freeze?
Yeah, that's more ice than Casper just took on his. Casper took outside of the 4 foot, so they're taking about a broom and a bit more, and their rocks seem to curl. So their rocks seem to be moving more than the yellow rocks.
I'm gonna go on record here and say I think this is tight ice, and I'm prepared to be wrong about it, but I feel like this is tight ice.
All right, well, let's see. They've hit a lot of guards though in their defense, so taking a little bit more ice is probably a smart idea for a team that's ticked about 7 guards.
The
problem is when you throw it pretty hard, when you throw it to it without sweepers, it takes its time to curl.
Yeah.
So now they got to decide, just get it a little past it, just get it past it. Yeah, guess what? They ticked another one.
Yeah.
Now here's a scenario where I would definitely be all for staying right here. It's shot rock, so you kind of got to get rid of it, but definitely be for staying. Yeah, I mean, he's going to try the same shot again, and that's going to leave you
little. Yeah, I guess they're worried about a little pocket or.
Actually, I wouldn't be worried. Like if you hit and rolled that if you hit and rolled that an inch and left that pocket, he makes the pocket. You make a nose hit for 2. So he's never gonna hit him. He's gonna come down and just try to jiggle them a bit, right? So if you can roll just to where, like even where they just put the broom there, if you can just roll it 3 or 4 inches, just to make sure that there's a hole for a rock between the two. I mean, you might see Morozumi play that double, but it would be weird to play the double to then just leave a no sit back for a deuce. So I think you put a lot more pressure on his last rock if you could stay in the 4-foot on this. If you roll out, he's just going to freeze onto the top 4-foot, right?
He's going to take another chance, yeah.
Yeah, but if you stay full 4, he can't freeze on the top one because you'll be sitting 2. And so he's got to try, like I'm not real sure what he's got. He's got to try to hit and roll off of yours a little bit behind the one that you're going to throw. So you hit and roll to where his broom is. He's going to try to hit and roll under your yellow, which, you know.
Oh, yeah. Oof.
Let him. That's where you're at, right?
Yeah.
Go for it, buddy. Like, this is pretty much it. Like, you really, really want to stay here and put a lot of pressure on him. And he's got lots of ice, so he's probably just playing quiet. I've been really impressed by their weight, by their just. Yeah. It's very impressive for a bunch for young guys. Young guys like to throw it hard.
This one's hanging out a bit, yeah. Going a little bit sweet, but I think they're okay with flopping just a hair. That's great. I think that might have rolled just an inch too far. I mean, he's still gonna look at this triple, I guess. I think so. There's no way you get rid of all 3. I'm sorry. There's just no way that all 3 go. So I think you're just gonna end up leaving a no sit for 2. But I just don't. It's fair. I don't know. We always say there's another red rock. Like we're not seeing it, but if there's a red rock. That red rock is not in play. So yeah. I just don't see it happen. I really don't. I'm not like it's so you've got to get that yellow rock moving forward and out of the rings. The third one on the right. Going up out, catching the back side of it, yeah. The one you hit goes, no question. And then it just matters, like you've got to hit this, you got to kind of come into that other yellow rock pretty solid, which means you have to hit about an 1/8, maybe a bit less than an 1/8 of the rock. You have to hit this thinner than you think you have to hit it. Your shooter might roll back too. Big weight here. Let's see what happens. You really want to make contact. Ooh. It's close. There you go. That is what I thought was going to happen. Okay. So, like, I just didn't see how that rock was going to get moving. Okay. Yeah, because initially when I thought, I didn't see that outcome where they get the... Well, I guess they hit the second one just hit too flush and didn't. I think they had to hit it thinner than they thought they had to hit it to get it moving, to get it actually going. Yeah. And it just didn't work. And then they weren't going to keep their shooter anyway. So like I think you throw that a bunch of different times, and I'm not sure that you make that shot. They hit that pretty thin, and it just dead jammed. So maybe a bit thicker you make it, but that rock jammed hard. They're saying whoa here on this one. Yeah, plenty of room to draw, but okay. No, just a little sweep just to make sure. Hand goes up, acknowledges it. Easy sweep for the deuce. So, Team Casper will get a deuce here. They'll be up, I guess, 3 points here now. So, Morozumi still has a shot here. A couple hammers to go if things play out, but they'll have hammer for you in the 6-end just after this break.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Sometimes curling just isn't as fun as it can be on the Nintendo Switch. With up to 4 players per console, you can enjoy curling with your friends and family anywhere, anytime. Let's play curling. Available now only on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. A little annoying.
Sounds complicated.
Yeah. Little annoying.
And we're back here at the 2023 Alberta Curling Series Major. We got Daniel Casper of Chaska, Minnesota. We got some fans of Daniel in the watching on YouTube. They said hello. Playing Yusuke Morozumi of Japan, and we've got a lot of fans watching in Japan. It's morning in Japan, and it is morning for Morozumi here. They got to put together an end here. They got to really get some aggressive, and they got it really. What it comes down to, Mark, is it's a deuce force deuce.
Yep.
Right.
No
so
problem.
They got to be looking at right now. They got the possibility of 2 hammers. They got a deuce. They got a force. They got a deuce, and they're tied up. If they can squeak a 3 out of that in one of those, you never know. But they're going to have to play a little bit more aggressively than they've.
Yeah.
They're going to have to.
Kind of curious here. There seems to be a discussion on what to do with the shot. You would have thought they would have talked about this during the break here, because it seems to be pretty standard setup, right?
Yeah. I think their only
Center.
question is, do they go around this corner guard, or do they freestyle the center line? Again, I don't necessarily think there's a right answer. You throw a corner guard in order to use it. They're just, like I said, there's a guard in there. There's a guard there. They're taking it. And that's
oh yes,
it's on the center line. So that's a big factor in that conversation, right? Like, So here's the scenario, Mark. We have been taking guards all across the sheet tonight. Maybe we should come around this corner guard.
Maybe just go around the corner,
and keep away from that rock and not tick it. That, I think, is the conversation that they were having.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, I guess if they feel like that's the best way to get a deuce, right?
It's a good. The thing is, like, obviously a big factor in this game is execution. You play shots that are less precise if possible, and you try some shots that you can succeed at better. Might not have been the worst idea in the world to just come around their own corner.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But hindsight is 20/20, Mark. Never miss a shot. You never miss a shot when you talk about
Not
it
from
after.
here.
You always like, if they had have only made that shot we're talking about right now instead of the shot they missed. If you had that power in curling, you'd never lose.
Bit of a break there where Team Casper quits the guard.
I think I'd be a couple of shots before I thought about hitting this. I get that it can get them. I'd be tapping this. I think they just got to get some rocks in play.
Yeah. Well, this one's curling too.
Oh, they took another guard.
Oh wow. That's well.
Yeah.
Get ready for some peels. Hope you guys like peels.
Yeah.
So I saw YouTube chat. There were some people cheering on the Casper rink. Does anyone know why they're playing with 3? Early on the season, it's kind of a lot of mixed lineups here, and people may have obligations. But I'm just curious if anyone happened to know.
I don't know. I was just gonna pretend it wasn't happening.
I mean,
no, I talked about it a little bit at the beginning. When you only have 3, sometimes you have a tendency to throw it a little bit harder.
Yep.
Especially draws.
Yeah, sometimes you just kind of have to like muscle it just a little bit.
Yeah, the tendency to do that is, even though there's no need to do that, that's just
exactly.
Sometimes is the tendency, but there's never a need to do that.
No.
So you don't have to throw it harder. You can just say, "Hey, team, can you make sure you got me here?"
Alright, so Morozumi here. We generate a deuce by freezing and hoping for some misses here.
Well, yeah, I think what they're hoping for at this point, is if they can make this freeze. The problem with this freeze is that it's pretty easy to just kind of like whack that short. This is a decent freeze.
Yeah.
But it's not that tough to just throw a peel at this and hit it anywhere high side. And almost actually this is pretty hard to jam with some weight. Would be very unlucky to end up with a red rock still in the rings unless
a little outside here, having to try to.
Yeah, but that's all right.
Yeah, should be fine.
Yeah.
Good result.
Yeah, that's there weren't too many places that you could hit that was going to get you into trouble. But they got a corner guard, so come around the whole thing, come around the one that's top 8 foot, go back 12 foot, force the run back, and then come around the guard. So you can be back 8 foot.
I like that one.
I think you want to come around the one on the center first.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Even though it's shorter?
So you come around the one on the center first, go back 12. And you're in hope for a miss territory here, right? But they try the run back and they miss it. Now you can go around the corner guard, and if you hit the open one, then you come around the corner guard again. That's your opportunity for 3. You don't really have an opportunity for 3 coming around this guard first.
Yeah.
Because you come around this guard and you make it perfect. They peel the corner, and what are you going to do? Go around the center or throw a corner, right? So you don't really have. You take 3 out of the option here, but if you come around this center line one and go back 12 and you force a miss, now because they're gonna run the one that's top 8 foot back, and if they miss, you come around the corner, then they either have to hit the open one or they have to hit the guard. But either way, if they hit the open one, then you come around the corner again, and now you have a chance. Now they're running back the guard and you're hoping they miss again. And maybe you get 3, right?
Yeah.
This way, you make this perfect. They peel the guard, and you have.
What is this?
This is tapping them in. Okay. Well. Okay. That's the good news for these guys is there's a C final.
Well,
this is a B final, so this is to qualify.
Okay.
But the good news for them is that if you lose this game, you're not out. they're definitely going to struggle here to generate offense after that. Yeah, the question is, the question that's going through his head right now, 6th end, is do we want to just bail? So if you peel this top guard, if you peel the red guard, you probably lose your back yellow, which isn't bad, but you're just going to go. And I think if you look at the math, Mark, the math works really, really well right now to throw this peel. You throw this peel, and it's just going to be really hard for them to get a deuce. It's going to be really hard for Morozumi to get a deuce. You make this peel, you take your back one with it, roll your shooter, he's coming around you. It's not going to be easy to get a deuce. This is, I'm not saying this is a wrong shot. This just comes, you begin to bring in some risk.
Yeah.
So you're gonna leave some rocks in play. It's gonna take a great shot out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you kind of freeze here. So what they're gonna try to do now is if they nose, lose the back one, now all of a sudden you've kind of got to blast it, and you can't. There's no way you can blast it because it jams on the other right, and you can't hit half a rock with an out turn. So you can't really take this rock out if they nose.
Ooh.
You might not be able to take it out easily. You might. Just a lot. There's just some things in the way, that's all. They could also...
Is there ever a shot where they're hitting that top one and maybe spinning off the backside of the one that's there?
Yeah, I think what they want to do is they definitely want to nose as much as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe just roll a hair over and kind of corner hook on the other yellow.
I mean, yeah, it's not a lot of
high side. It's got to be just a little bit high side. It's gonna just hit right on the nose. See, that's tough. It's not easy to get this out with the out turn because the guards are in the way. So you can't hit half a rock, so you've got to hit. And it's not hard to get it out with the in turn, but it's not the way that you want to be playing because it's kind of possible. Right? So this isn't a really incredibly easy rock to get out. It's a quarter rock if you throw the in turn. It's a little tougher with the out turn because you got to skinny the top guard.
Yeah.
So I think they're contemplating if we don't throw, what does he play? Which is a good way to think about it, right? If he doesn't throw, we don't throw, then what is he going to play? Well, he's going to run this red back, but we're going to actually be second shot. So it's only going to be for one. So then we're going to have a shot. So at this point, all they're talking about is what do we don't want to make his shot for him. We don't want to try to run this red rock, jam it, and roll it behind the corner.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't throw right now, he can't sit two. He can sit two. He's got to hit and roll on. So he's got to he's got to roll his shooter on. But that's going to leave a double. So if we don't throw right now, he's going to play hit and roll off the top red, roll his shooter to the left-hand side to make sure that it's second shot, and that's going to leave you a double to get out of it, to just get out of it.
Yeah.
So the possibilities here, what they're talking about is, do we throw, do you guard it, or I don't love guarding it because they come around it all. So
they come around, everything, yeah.
They come around everything. So then they were talking about just drawing the edge of the forefoot to sit 2. They were talking about coming around themselves to the back forefoot. Then then Morozumi freezes, then you freeze in your shot. So they're probably having just a good conversation about like some different shots that I don't really love the guard. I don't hate the guard, but I liked whoever suggested back forefoot, just riding the back forefoot around them, like fully in the back forefoot. I support that a lot too. They might still try. Like I think you would see them still try that red hit because they seem to be hitting everything, even when they probably should be trying.
Yeah.
So I think you'd still see them play that hit, and then you would have the double back. So I don't know if I like this guard, but I think this guard is gonna definitely. I think you're gonna see Morozumi come around it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and again, if it's taking away what Morozumi was going to do, right? If Morozumi's going to try to hit and kind of flop it inside, then this effectively takes that away. This one, hair light, maybe good job of keeping it up here. Yeah.
Looks like it's going to be tight, which is fine. We're just going to finish it here. It's not bad.
I feel like he can.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Pretty good.
Okay, so he's gonna contemplate running this guard back.
Yeah.
Just his own guard. So a very obvious setup shot, right? So what he would play is he would, with a control weight, with a control-ish kind of weight, hit the red guard, roll your shooter over about a rock and a half, maybe just a little bit. Get the red rock almost like just a little bit over the nose. Roll it a little bit in. Jiggle those around a bit, and maybe you have a run back on those 2 rocks on the yellow. But what you've also got is the ability to come off the one that you throw. So the one that you throw is still going to be in play, and you might be able to come off that to get to the back yellow. So they're playing a setup shot here.
Yeah.
So imagine the red shooter, that the one that they're going to throw, sits like just like a little
half
bit
a rock to the right, yeah.
Yeah, where he's standing right now, but up on the sheet, right? That's what he's hoping for. A little bit to the left of where the broom is where it wants to end up. And then you can run it in, or you come off it to get 3. So this is definitely a setup shot to get 3, and it's going to force Casper to play this wide in turn to the back. The shot that they talked about playing on his first, they're going to probably have to play it now because I don't think they're going to have the ability to hit. All he's got to do is get it in for second shot, and they've got no shot at 2. So, but this is one of those setup shots, Mark. Set it up, and you kind of hope for a miss, and you give yourself a chance at 2 glory shots.
Okay. So appears to be pretty good.
No guard to tick.
Yeah.
Oh, that ends up badly for them.
Angles. Oh no.
You don't throw. There's no way they can get rid of that rock. Well, I guess there is. But there's just there's a possible shot for 2. Yellow guard.
Yeah.
Yellow.
Oh, the one off the side there. Ooh.
Yeah. The yellow guard onto the one that's biting the center line onto the yellow.
Oh, I was thinking the in off like the
maybe
the 2 o'clock rock, you know. That.
Oh yeah, you could play way off that outside yellow too.
Yeah.
That yellow.
Yeah, nut it for 3. Yeah.
For 3. Yeah, just throw it and all you have to do is get Kevin Martin out of retirement, suit him up, limber him up with some with a Caesar, and let her rip.
So I don't have a horse in this match, but I would like to see this attempt being thrown. So nothing against Team Casper here.
I'm with you. I would love to see
I want to see the shot. Yeah.
Just throw it at a million miles an hour and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
It might overcurl here.
Coming out of the house here.
No, he's gonna be fine.
Yeah. Wah wah.
Yeah, you don't get to see the massive. Throw it as hard as you can and hope. I just scratched the guard as they were going by, but it's
fine.
It's fine.
Good sportsmanship here. No immediate yells of pulling the rock.
Yeah, unfortunately we got a draw for one, which was, that's what Casper had to do after that. And like it took a pressure off it too, because even if he didn't make that, I'm not sure that on this sheet right now that the rocks are lively enough to make that.
Yeah.
For normal humans.
Yeah, a bit of a bad break on there in that first shot. Like I said, that's just overcurled on them and just rolled it to make
just the wrong spot. Just had to roll out a hair and it would have been gold. He might have actually had this run back. He might have had angle run back to get the double on the two. Yeah, but as it happens, draw for one. Sweepers don't seem that concerned about it. For a front end that's
maybe a hair timer.
100 guards. They don't seem that concerned about guards. It's good.
That's good.
Oh, they got another tick.
Yeah.
That was a fortuitous tick. All right, sign us out.
All right. Well, Morozumi forced to take a single there after an exciting end. So Casper will have hammer in the 7th end just after this break.
What will tomorrow look like? Will it be what you expected? Or something you could never have predicted? Will it be frightening or exciting? Is it the reason you can't sleep at night? Or the reason you get up in the morning? Tomorrow will be all of these things. With Hub, you have a partner today who supports you in writing a more resilient, vibrant, and profitable tomorrow, protecting what matters most to you. Because the truth is, tomorrow is a gift, and we want you to be ready for it.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
What job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
All right, welcome back here. I'm going to take us out because this has been fun. You are watching the Alberta Curling Series Major with Daniel Casper of Minnesota playing Yusuke Morozumi of Japan. This is draw 7, also known as the B final. Loser of this is still alive. The winner of this qualifies. We are at the Beaumont Curling Club in Beaumont, Alberta. My name is Matt Hames. Mark, how am I doing?
Doing pretty good. Pretty solid. I like it.
Good. Normally in our relationship, you do all the announcer stuff and I just do the color.
Yeah. Well, you had your chance while I was trying to figure out my stuff there on the back end for the internet connection. But finally made it. We got over 300 people still with us on the Curling Zone YouTube. People from all over the States, Canada, Japan, to watch this interesting match.
See, there is, in my opinion, a good, nice little pressure shot there. You want rocks in play. Mark, you do not have to sit shot when you're trying to steal until much later in the end.
Go around here?
They're trying to go around right on top of their own. So you just want, like, what you want the most is you want a scenario where Daniel's not peeling center guards.
Yeah.
That's really what you want. You just want to get some rocks in play, right? Like Daniel wants a scenario where he can just walk up and peel center guards. You want exactly not that. Sometimes one of the ways to make that happen is to let them be shot. So he's just like, we need to just throw guards, and that's okay. See, look how much less ice he's taken.
Yeah.
And let me remind you, they've ticked a couple of guards in this game. They're not tightening they are not taking a little bit more ice. They're sticking with their game plan.
Yeah. This one should have plenty of room.
Yeah, it's just a little heavy, so it's just hanging out there.
Yeah.
It's a little, like, they wanted this tight guard, and it would have ended up probably being T-line on zone. It's a little heavier, and it just hangs out. Daniel's just gonna rip.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good scenario, a setup right now for Casper here. Like, there's no threat. You just got to throw some guards. Eventually someone's going to decide what to do.
Yeah.
Morozumi could probably hit that red rock and get both yellows moving and maybe get them out, and maybe probably not sit 3, but definitely sit 2. So that's a shot possibility.
Would there ever be consideration if you're Morozumi hitting the one that's higher in the house and maybe just trying to roll to the side?
Yeah, so he might start to consider that. I think he might consider that on thirds first or thirds second. But what he wants to do right now is just kind of like waste a couple of rocks. He doesn't want to group the rocks in the rings yet, because then they start blasting, and then you're in trouble if like, you just, at a certain point they're gonna have to make a play on these, obviously, right? But their advantage is that the Casper team is gonna peel every guard that's in play, no matter what. So you can start to think about you can start to think about moving the guard around a little bit. Like, he's trying to get it closer to the center line. You could cross the center line with this guard just to put a little bit of pressure on. They're still gonna like just peel it, but you can move it around a bit. This is thirds first.
Yeah.
So this will be the last guard that if
that's thrown,
then you're gonna see them make a play on probably on the rocks and the rings.
Yeah. But if you're Casper, you still have to peel, right?
It's just it's certainly not a have to point. It's just like you're at a point where the scoreboard suggests that guards are not your friend.
Yeah.
So you just look at the scenario and say, they're gonna look at this, right? They're gonna take a good look, and then they're gonna say, yeah, you know what, let's just do this.
That is a well-coached team.
Yeah.
Not like me. You'd be like, no, let's just go throw in top 4.
Right, let's just go in here again. Look at us. We're sitting a bunch. It's exactly. You always remember, if at any point in an end you could be like, what does he want out of this end? And if the answer is he really wants Roxanne playing guards, then you're just kind of like playing right into his hands. So the 2 shots are try to hit that red and just move these around. Like, again, I don't think it's like a full weight hit. I think you're just like, it would be great if you could keep everything in play. So just kind of tap some things around, or you could just play the shot you called, like try to just tap that top one.
Yeah.
Tap that back, but you're still just tapping it foot and try to sit right on top of the other one. So I think those are the 2 shots that they'll think about right now. It's really tempting to play the tap on the reds because you're like, let's tap our own.
Yeah. No.
Probably the right shot is to just tap that yellow, the one that you like.
So, right. Because if we tap the yellow, right, then Daniel's going to have to throw some weight to try to get some separation, right? And if he ever,
Oh yeah, like
if the red ever stays, yeah. Then
you look at this overhead and you tap that yellow rock to where his broom is right now, or just a little bit higher, even just a little bit higher. You create a little pocket there. Your shooter probably rolls a little bit too far. That's okay. Yeah. On the next shot, you're playing shots ahead, right? So he's gonna. If your rock rolls over a little too far, they're gonna blast it out. Now all of a sudden you kind of freeze into that pocket, and maybe things are getting a little bit dicey because you've got 3 reds in the ring. They're still gonna be sitting shot, maybe even 2. So it's gonna take a couple of glory shots on Skipper's rocks, but these are setup shots. You're just trying to position the rocks in a way that benefits you.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to tap it that far.
Yeah, I think you want to tap it to right where his
right there. Yeah.
Your shooter rolls over just a little high. Then Casper's going to think about running the red double, or just picking up the shooter.
Yeah, I think you either pick up a shooter.
A bit more risk, but way more reward. Picking out the shooter is easier, but then that they're playing this to set it up. They're just going to freeze one in there again, and then all of a sudden you're going to have to think about. You're just going to have to throw a blast in there and hope good things happen. And in fairness, right? You're up a bunch. You have hammer, so you're up 2 with playing 7. You could get a little aggressive here and give up steal and still be in solid control of this game.
Oh sure, yeah.
It's always worth pointing that out.
Yeah, going the last end, up 1 with. We're in a good situation.
Yeah, you don't want to. You'd rather get one here and
sure.
3 without, but.
It's coming in pretty nicely here. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. They take the guard.
Oh, no.
I mean, what are the odds of that happening in this game that they've taken every guard?
So you're picking that one out here, and then... Oh, man.
Yeah, you might be able to... might be able to hit this red. If you hit this red just off nose,
yeah,
you might be able to get all reds moving. Certainly get 2 of them going. it might go back onto that back one.
I feel like it doesn't go on the back one, but unless it just it's like
there's
too
also
dead.
not a lot of risk of just picking out this red.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to hit the back one. Like you
Again.
really,
Yeah, the cool shot is to play this. That's slashing the.
Yeah, the cool shot is to play that. The thing is that top red rock is not a bad, like it's not a hurting you rock. The one on the 4-foot is definitely a hurting you rock, and so just get rid of that rock. And they're probably gonna play. They're gonna play this tap again. Like they're gonna just play control weight tap, or not even control, like tap back weight, just kind of moves them around again. And then you're gonna have some chances or choices. Just get rid of this rock.
Boo! Blow it up.
Yeah.
The reasonable call here.
This is the reasonable and also probably percentage-wise correct call.
This thing's curling quite a bit. Is this one?
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fine. Nice.
Oh,
Get it.
very
Nice
good.
on the back one.
Very nice.
Decent result.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're still in the same situation where what you do is you play this with like just a back 8-foot weight, move things around and just jiggle some things around, roll over a tiny bit. Hope they play a peel, jam. He might just pick out the red one, the red one that's right beside his broom.
Yeah.
Like Casper might just pick out the red one and say, okay, it's your shot now because we're sitting 3.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? So, like, this is the thing about this tap is that you have to kind of like, you probably have to either be 3rd shot or 4th shot after this shot for it to be a reasonable shot.
I mean, that's...
But unless he's actually playing it with weight, which he is. So he's playing a double here and a roll over.
Okay.
Which is it's a shot, definitely.
Yep.
Shot. So he's trying to cross this, double off the back one, and just roll over a smidge onto the one on the left of the 4-foot. I think that's the hope. Leaving Daniel just a pick out. And then you hit the open one and make him draw against 2.
Yep.
Draw the 8-foot against 2.
Sweeper's on it a little early out of hand.
Oh, this might be curling a little bit too much for them. Oh no, it's looking good. It's got to just come up a bit. There you go. Okay. Maybe there's... I don't think you want to risk throwing this double.
No.
The upside to throwing this double. I don't think you want to stay. I think you just pick this out, honestly. So the downside of staying is that it would be 3rd shot. Like if he knows this, it's 3rd shot. Then they play a hit and roll, and now all of a sudden they're one buried behind your guard and their second shot. And even if you try to get cute and you try to roll this, like roll it over to dead guard that, you way over roll, it's the same. That's a better scenario. Like I'd listen to that scenario way more. But the problem is when you think about like this little control weight, the risk is the nose hit. Like, so he's throwing this with control weight with that ice, right?
Yeah.
And if you nose hit here, you are going to be 3rd shot and you're offering a guard for him to hit and roll behind. So that means that you're playing a run back on this, like on your last shot. If you make your shot
run back
and you nose it, like you're making a run back for 1 against 2, which 2 shots ago, you'd be like, there's no way that I'm going to end up playing a run back for 1 against 2. but here we are. So you got to make this. Obviously, you got to make the shot, but playing it this quiet just brings in the risk of it coming up to the nose.
Yeah. Sweeper's working it hard here. It's curling quite a bit. Still,
I think is gonna be
a little
okay.
high side. Yeah.
Yeah, that works out. I mean, it leaves this outturn draw. Is this outturn draw for an or a double? Sit two. Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's.
You could draw the corner of the button buried, or you could just play this shot.
Yeah.
So
hit and stick and just hope the.
I think we're
hope for a pick.
I think we decided a little bit a while ago that we weren't going to try to steal this end. We were just going to try to make it tough to get for them to get one.
Yeah.
They didn't even look at the draw. Which I guess, you know, I'm not saying it's a shot mark, like I'm not, but it's you can half bury, you can come through that port, you can tick off your own red. Like there's some options here. They've been the tick machines, and in this instance, a tick would actually benefit them greatly. Like if they ticked either guard, it would be gold.
Final rock for Team Morozumi, 7th end. Looking for double and stay here.
Yeah, looks like it might be a little inside. Rut row. Can you
go over the top now?
You can't go over the top. Well.
Well, Casper with an open draw. Well, open-ish draw, right? Just
open-ish draw. He can come down to his own and be second shot. So like you've got some. I believe this would be rip off the mitts time.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been I tell you, it's been an interesting game. The scoreboard does not necessarily reflect how this game has gone.
Yeah.
Morozumi has just like if there was a guard that was in play or not even in play, they ticked it, and they just ticked so many guards. If they got by a couple more of those, it would have been a lot different game. But that's curling for you, man. You're just on the other side of the inch, and they were on the other side of the inch.
Well, Team Casper makes the draw here successfully, and we see handshakes as expected here. So, yeah, definitely a good match. We'll have some more action here. The Alberta Curling Series Major. If you head on over to Curling Zone, you can see how the event is going. I believe we got C qualifiers, C event games starting tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time or so, where you'll see Team Morozumi and some of the others in that event. So.
Yep. Congratulations to Daniel Casper's team. They qualified. That's awesome for them.
Yeah.
They get to relax now and have a nice night and not go out on the ice for a bit. So good for them. They played well. It was a fun game to watch.
Well-deserved rest, especially three-man team. You know, good to get that a little bit extra break and not have to play the early draw. So congrats to them. Thank you for everyone who's joined us on Curling Zone YouTube. You know, having people watching us, sharing Curling Stadium broadcasts with their friends helps us grow these channels. Interaction with the chat is always great, so thank you guys for keeping us entertained while we do this, bring you this commentary. So, any final words there, Matt?
No, it was definitely a game of ticking guards, and if they had have got by a couple, they would have probably had a much better result. But you can't just keep ticking guards all night and hope for good things. So that's about all I got.
Yeah. All right. Well, on behalf of my co-host here, Matt Hames, this is Mark Ngo, signing off, and we'll see you guys hopefully in a few hours, 12-ish hours for next draw.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.